Merhaba arkadaşlar, Recep ALTAŞ kanalıma hoş geldiniz. Vampir oyunumuzda en son Pembroke Hastanesi'nde kalmıştık. Doktor Svensia ile birlikte. Gelin sizlerle birlikte devam edelim. İyi seyirler dilerim. Oyunu Türkçe'ye yapmıştım bildiğiniz gibi. Ve bu oyuna daha çok anlam kattı. Yani bazı şeyleri sizlerle birlikte anında yaşamak daha iyi oluyor. Evet, Pembroke Hastanesi. Böyle gösteriyorum size. Ve oyunuma başlıyorum. Onlar yaralıyla ilgileniyorlar. Kavga eden adamlar görüyoruz burada.
Rotten or pristine, each heart contains the source of life. Drink at this river, dry it all.
Oh, come on, you bastard! I won't bite.
Sir, please.
Asıl ben
You've
ısıracağım
lost too
biraz
much
sonra.
blood. Calm yourself.
You think I didn't notice? Stop your staring and get me to an hospital, you arse!
Insulting a good Samaritan. Not exactly the way to get rescued.
All right, sorry. I am in pain here. My guts are spilling out onto the street and you're yabbering on.
Yes. That's a very nasty wound you've got there. Take my word, I am a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reid.
Name's Clay Cox. I'd appreciate you helping me to a better place, Doc.
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
Bring this fading light into the shadows. Dance with him the dance of life and death.
In the back, you bastard! Didn't have the guts to fight me. Fuck you! I'll kill you! I'll kill you!
Gidebiliriz artık.
To taste a life, to embrace its most intimate secrets. Such a burden, such a divine sin.
Alınacak bir şey var mı bu arada, hemen bakalım. Çok ipuçlarıyla oyun dolu olduğu için bakmadan geçemeyeceğim. Biraz zaman kaybı olacak ama yok. Bak burada bile bir şey var yani, bak. Dur bir dakika. Bu oyunda Es geçmeyeceksin yürüdüğün yeri bile. Yoldan bir şey alabilirsin yani. Hastalara bakın.
Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reid has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before.
Rockefeller
at the
Üniversitesi'nde
University
tanışmışlar.
in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
It's more than enough. In any case, the personnel of a hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reid. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah, yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office now and again.
Tell me more about cherished people, then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Bakın burada hiçbir şeyi boş geçmeyeceksiniz. Hemen bir ipucu kaptım, bir şey kaptım. Bir bekle lan sen de. Bir şey bakıyoruz şurada. Çağırıp duruyor. Bir dur da bir ipuçlarına bakayım şurada.
Come on, I don't have all night.
Bekle lan işine. Hatta şuraya bakacağım senden önce. Bir dur.
I'm not one to make wait, Doctor. I've patience to it. Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
I apologize, nurse. I needed some time to myself. This has been the longest and strangest night of my life.
You delivered poor Mr. Hampton from a terrible fate. The means to that end should be of little concern, Doctor.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you. Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reid. Your office has been prepared.
I would like to ask a few questions first. And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in, How does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
If you could point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the corridor.
What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is sudden. I've only just returned to England.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most compassionate physician.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Şöyle bakmam gereken bir şeyler var mı? Hemen bakalım. Buralarda bir ipucu bir şey. Bundan sonra hastaneye geçeriz. Bak. Bunlar lazım olacak işte, hepsi var ya. Böyle cam şişe falan diye geçmeyin. Bakın şimdi ilerleyen yerlerde lazım olacak.
This is no time for self-pity. It is the last thing our patients need.
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reid, the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse
Az
Grace
önce
Brannigan.
doktorun bahsettiği
Welcome to
kadın.
the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected notoriety.
You must
Ben
know,
de sizlerle
blood
birlikte okuyorum.
transfusions are Dr.
Aynı
Swansea's
anda
primary
yaşıyoruz yani,
subject of
emin olun.
research. He is
Bunlar. Daha
convinced
önce
it
oyun
is the
oynamadım.
future.
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's hard, Doctor.
An invisible enemy. Quite a poetic term for a disease, especially from a nurse.
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks have been exhausting. We could all do with a good night's sleep.
Do you think this hospital can survive the epidemic?
We are all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold fast, but how do we beat an invisible killer? Some nurses have already resigned.
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea has a gift for recruiting talent.
Most of them. Is there a problem I should know about, nurse?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Is there anyone that stands out?
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tippett's. He should be a standard for us all here.
O da az önceki
If only
görüştüğümüz
he were
doktor.
younger.
Why should his age be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and get some rest.
Bak o da onun hakkında bir
Nurse
şeyler
Brannigan,
söylüyor.
if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No, I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is doing their best.
Anlaşıldı. Bundan bir şey öğrenemeyeceğiz.
Why does Dr. Tippett claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore. does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Oyunun bug'ına bakın baba, duvara yürüyor.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reid. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reid. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reid. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war, and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reid. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reid. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
Bak demek ki para bu işe yarıyor.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital? Apart from smuggling guns, I mean.
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess. I'll bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job, but I get it done. Most of the time.
It sounds like things have been a bit rough recently. What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing here. I escaped from the hospital's garden, but I lost my wallet when I was running.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital? That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
Ne oldu bakalım?
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings. Even the locals attack you.
How is the situation around here?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful. We lack everything, and it's getting worse every day.
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not?
Bu nasıl bir adam?
I've
Lan?
already
Her
been
şeye
attacked by
ters
patients, you know.
dikleniyor.
And by gang members willing to steal my money.
But you're not defending yourself. You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them another way to protect their health.
Goodbye, Milton.
Şimdi asıl oyuna başlayalım.
Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research. Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reid, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon.
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reid, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a
Bu bize
vampire.
saldıran
I see.
insanlardan bahsediyor galiba.
Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Zaten o
Thank you,
morga ineceğiz
mortal.
birazdan.
But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
No, such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Devam edebiliriz.
The pain. It's here again.
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No.
I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reid. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Can I do anything for
Aynı
your
zamanda da
Nurses
savaş
gave me a
zamanı.
bunch of pills.
Demek ki dünya
No effect.
savaşı var.
Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
How close are you to Miss Horcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of me blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
And it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness.
Biliyorum arkadaşlar, biraz bu konuşmalarla geçti bu bölüm ama bunları yapmasam oyunun ince böyle yani ip kadar ince, kıl kadar ince olan ayrıntılarını yakalayamam ve oyundaki ipuçlarını kaybetmiş olurum.
Where were you stationed?
Oyun amacı bu zaten.
Did you serve
Zaten bu yüzden yani bu sohbet türünü
No
yapmışlar.
offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Fear and disgust on every street corner. The daily routine.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reid, is it? Oh, sir, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Horcroft.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reid. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
What What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the dockers' trade union. The wet boot boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Has the gang
Clay
been
Cox da az
threatening you?
önceki bunun
No. I've had this nickname for so
kanını
long.
içtiği
You
adam.
know, the sad saint
Önce
of the
adam
East End.
öldürüp bizden
No
yardım
one dares
istemiş.
to bug a saint, not even criminals.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks. And I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
Bu haç diyor sihirli bir simge değildir.
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really. But I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest. And then I could go back to the people who need me.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
Bakalım şöyle alabileceğimiz bir şeyler var mı? Bayağı oyalandık şu konuşmalarla. Ama o konuşmalar da olmasa ayrıntıları bulamayız.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Bir hastanın ailesine yazdığı bir mektup.
My sweet girl reads me like a book.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reid. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reid? I have the feeling you're very capable, and your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies. Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had
Biraz bu
professional
konuşmalarla
arguments with
geçiyor
rivals
ama
on
bu
the
bölüm
building site.
kusura bakmayın
Difference is I
arkadaşlar.
disagreed about wooden nails.
Yani biliyorsunuz
or
ki
flesh and bone.
siz de oynasanız bu oyunu bu adamları böyle konuşturmazsanız ipuçlarını bulamazsınız.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reid.
You seem worried about the safety of your family. And it's obviously the reason why your wound troubles you so much.
I cannot give up on my children now. They both need me living.
What about their mother?
Doktor doğru yere
She died in 1915
ayak
during
basıyor.
one of the first Zeppelin raids. We never found her body.
Bak hemen ben şimdi bu adamı konuşturmasam, muhabbet etmesem şimdi bu kilit ayrıntı açılmayacaktı. Direkt geçsem.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army, building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
My sweet girl. Reads me like a book. I never could keep anything from her.
What can I do for you, Doctor?
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Bunda bir şey yok ha. Şöyle bir.
What can I do for you, Doctor?
Yani yok oğlum seninle ya, bırak.
Thank you,
Sen-
Nurse Crane.
Bunu o şey zaten, buna da gerek yok. Konuştuk. Şuna bakayım, bir şey var mı? Yok.
Good evening, Nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reid. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
You must get a hold of yourself, Nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
You'd be surprised what dedication can achieve, Nurse Hawkins. In medicine, sometimes we're just a test result away from a miracle.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Bak hemen bir ipucu daha açıldı.
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Şöyle bir gidelim sona doğru. Buraya baktık mı?
I will not let you down, my boy.
Tamam, yukarı odamıza çıkalım artık. Şöyle biraz hızlanalım. Zaten vakit öldürdük. Ya oyun sanki var ya, bir anlamda da oyunu tasarlayan kişiler insan sağlığına da önem verecek bir sürü kağıt, afiş türü şeyler yapıştırmış. Baksana da çok güzel bence ya. Bunları görünce buralara girdim mi? Nereymiş burası böyle? Şöyle bir göz atalım yine. Sanki ben girerken buralarda bir yerlerde bir ışıltı gördüm ama. Bir tekrar bir girer gibi yapayım şöyle. Ha, burada bak, bunu görmüş. Bu kadar şişeyi toplayıp ne yapacağız biz, ben onu anlamadım. Acaba iksir falan hazırlarken mi yardımcı olacak? Ve bu tarafa geçeyim son kez.
It's locked, all right. It's locked, all right.
Kesin bir bok var burada. Lucy Paul. Annem ve babam. Kilitli olanı merak etmedim değil aslında. Ne var da yani kilitli o. Dışarıdaki hastane niye öyle? Bir gidip bakmak lazım aslında ona. Bir dakika, hemen gideyim oraya. Çöp kutusuna bile bakıyor bak. Ufak burada çuvalı, bir de vida.
I'm sorry you ended up playing in cold medical bench, sir. I understand you must be very...
Thelma Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they hiding? I should investigate. I cannot enter.
Lan saçmalığa bak.
Good evening.
Konuşalım.
I'm Dr. Reid.
Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir. Especially when he was supposedly dead.
A colleague? Are you a doctor too?
Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana. Now, I'm just Mr. Chadana, pawnbroker and humble guardian of this morgue.
What do you mean, you used to be a doctor? Was your license revoked?
No, sir. It is just that I like to be precise. I run a little pawn shop while taking care of the dead. But I used to be a real doctor.
Are you afraid or uneasy being surrounded by so many corpses?
Why should I? These bodies are empty vessels. Flesh left to decay. Poof. No soul anymore. All gone.
An interesting point of view. And quite an exotic one, too. Most people fear, or at least have respect, for dead flesh.
Sir, as a medic during the war, I learned to face my death and the death of others. It's the pain we have to take, not death itself.
How did you get this job?
After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker down by the docks. A dangerous place with many an unpleasant business there. Milton Hooks helped me get a job here.
Do you work here alone?
Yes, very easy work, sir. All I have to do is watch a few bodies.
Sizinle birlikte altyazılar okuyorum işte. Aynı şekil. Bu video böyle geçecek herhalde.
Why do you have to watch these bodies?
Because these poor fellows have no names. We keep them in case someone comes looking for the missing. Sadly, very rarely happens.
Why close the hospital's main morgue?
It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic. Cadavers had to be moved to the nearest mass grave.
Have we met before?
I don't think so, sir. Why?
When we first talked, you said you were glad to meet me since I was reported dead.
Funny story, sir. Your sister came here a few nights ago. You were missing, and she was looking for your body. She must be very relieved now.
Kız kardeşini tanıyormuş ilk bölüm öldürdüğü bunu.
A pawnbroker? I expect you get all types of people here.
Yes, sir. All kind of people. For I sell all kind of goods.
Who comes here to trade with you? It's very unhygienic, even unsafe. Diseases can spread. For the customers, for the hospital.
I'm very cautious, sir. I've been a doctor, remember? And all my clients are good people. In fact, I think I only know good people.
What kind of goods?
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy things. So I trade, I exchange. Some people sell, some others buy. I like to help.
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe in life after death, Rakesh?
No. I believe we must do all the good we can while alive. For our time is short, and the obstacles are endless.
Do you think you would enjoy immortality as a concept?
I don't think so. Don't mistake me. I love life, and I'd like to live a long life. But everything has to decay, sir. Even goodwill.
Do you really believe goodwill cannot last?
As I said, sir, everything decays. If I was to never die, goodness, I would be bored or worse. And I like to be helpful, sir.
Quite depressing, wouldn't you say?
Yes, but the good news is we'll all die before losing our humanity, sir.
So you're ready to die?
No, I am not. I don't fear death, for I won't see it. What troubles me is the pain my death will inflict to those I know.
You're a wise man, Mr. Chidana.
No, Dr. Reid. I am a foolish man, but I like to think otherwise.
Goodbye, Mr. Jonathan.
İşte bu doktorla da görüştükten sonra bu videoyu sonlandırmak istiyorum aslında. Yani artık zaten bu konuşmalardan gına geldi ama şöyle bir şey, bu oyun içindeki karakterlerle konuşmazsan hiçbirinden ipucu alamazsın ve ufak ayrıntılı olan yerlerde yapamazsın, yani bu oyunu bitiremezsin bunlardan dolayı. Bir taraftan bir şeyler topluyorum şişelerle filan, serumdur, ne bileyim alkoldür, ilaçtır. Bir taraftan da bu tür insanlarla, doktorlarla ve hastalarla konuşuyorum ki hepsinden birer ipucu toplayıp kenara not ediyorum. Zaten onu da oyunda görüyorsunuz, hemen ipucu, yeni ipucu diye yazıyor. Ve bu şekilde bu bölümü bitiriyorum. Bir dahaki bölüm aksiyonlu ve gerilimli olacak. Size söz veriyorum. Bu videoyu da beğendiyseniz beğeni, yorum ve paylaşım yapmayı unutmayın ve abone olmayı unutmayın. İyi seyirler dilerim.